Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6 o'clock. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
It is very quiet here.
Yes.
And the parking lot is quite empty.
Yeah, next week it might be a little bit of a concern because they're redoing the entire parking lot.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be all ripped up, so I think everybody has to come in through the front door.
Front. And then find our way to the back. I honestly don't know if I can find my way from the front to the back because I never come in that way and get back here.
Oh, it's just
pretty simple.
Yeah, you just come in the cafeteria door there by Tiger's Pride. Just come down the hallway.
Okay. All right. And Carol Palmer's our guest next week, so we'll have to let Carol know as well.
Yeah, I mean, they may be done in a couple of days. I'm not sure. So
yeah.
People are like, oh, tell me what's going on. I'm like, I don't know.
Don't know.
I know it's starting on Sunday or Monday.
Okay. And
I know the truck has to be out of here by Friday.
I will say this. It's like I'm really thrilled that they're doing this parking lot because it is an absolute...
It's a minefield.
Oh, it is a minefield. It is a minefield. Even in the nice weather, it's a minefield. We got potholes and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Okay.
Yep.
Well, good to know. Thank you for letting us know. And so what you said, the truck has to be out here by Friday. What's going on?
Correct. Yes. People are like, oh, she put it at City Hall. I'm like, no. It's coming home where I know I can keep an eye on it.
Where you can keep an eye on it.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't want to put it in a place that doesn't have cameras and is out in the open. Here, it's locked behind the gate.
Yes.
Because they lock the gate every night now.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
since
that
they
they did
repaired
that,
it, said they couldn't lock it for a while.
Okay.
The only time they leave it open is in the winter because of snow plowing operations.
Okay.
But during the summer and spring and everything else, they lock it.
Okay. Good to know.
So it's protected.
Yes.
I just don't want to leave it out in the open.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And there's no room at the police department or anywhere, that kind of thing. So
yes.
I have a good spot for it with a camera right on it. So at home. So yeah.
There you go. All right. Sounds good.
It's only for a couple days anyway. So.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, good to know.
But I was trying to figure out whether I take the shows on the road. And do it out of the truck but then I have to set it up every morning and then it's like, all right, well, shows tape at different times now. And it's just like,
oh yeah, that's right.
Don't have access to a bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just easier to do it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these logistical considerations.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, I hear what you're saying. Yes, that's right. Because I forgot. Because Bob tapes his and
Monday afternoon,
right?
Bobby G tapes his Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, okay. All right. I gotcha.
Then there's all kinds of shows on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so
I'm hoping they get it. I mean, I think they have to rip everything out. That's not a milling and paving job. I think that's rip it out and start from scratch.
Okay. So it may take them the whole week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, just keep us posted. Keep me informed so I can keep Carol informed. Just as a little recap, so last Wednesday, I kept saying that we had this Elder Law 2026 program that evening. It was last Wednesday, June 17th. Attorney Mary Pyer Powers was going to do that. And I have to tell you, it was fabulous. Mary did such an excellent job. We had about 30 people there. They were so engaged. They asked really good questions. And it was well worth their while. And anyway, it was just great. And a shout out to Mary Powers because this is through the Mass Bar Association. And what they do is they'll send an email out to all the senior centers, like sometime usually in January, early in the year, and say, would you like to have a legal presentation for free? And we will have an attorney, come out and speak to you. You don't know who the attorney's going to be. And then Mary said, yes, they send an email out to the attorneys that are members of the Mass Bar Association and say, would you be willing to do a community service? It's an educational program. And it's usually kind of a group of attorneys, at least in Western Mass. I've had
kind of a rotation.
Yeah, kind of a rotation. It's generally the same attorneys who are now all a little older. So the nice thing is they're pretty seasoned and usually, really well versed in estate planning and
can handle
senior issues.
Any questions type of thing.
Yes, exactly. And the questions were just excellent. I mean, people asked really great questions, and Mary gave really good, detailed answers. So anyway, thank you to Mary Powers, who was our attorney this year. They usually don't give us the same attorney 2 years in a row, but we've probably had about 6 or 7 over the years that we've been doing it, 6 or 7 different ones. But it was a great program. So that's awesome. The big program this week is tomorrow we are having our cook-in at the senior center as opposed to a cookout because we don't have grills and stuff. But we're doing hamburgers and hot dogs and all that kind of good stuff. And we have Shiloh Angels is our sponsor tomorrow, and they are going to be providing the ice cream. So as when I last checked, we had a few slots left. There is a cap on this lunch, folks, obviously, because we have somebody coming in and bringing the ice cream. So she needed a number. So I gave her a number last Friday, and I cushioned it. I said, I'm leaving space for another 20 people or so, and most of those 20 slots are filled. So if you are interested, I believe as of yesterday, early afternoon, we had a few slots left. But go ahead and call us because remember, you only have until noon today to do your reservation for tomorrow. So that's what's happening big time there. We had Richie Mitnick at the Senior Center yesterday for ballroom dancing. Next Tuesday is Diabetes Dialogue. And this morning, Jen Jafune will be on the show, second hour. We're going to be talking about travel and trying to maintain somewhat of a healthy eating habit and pattern when you are traveling and vacationing. And how do you do that? And you don't just throw the towel, don't throw it all out the window and say, I'm on vacation, because you could really lose a lot of ground for some good habits that you've been building over the course of the last several weeks and months. So we'll talk all about that. I want to shout out to Carol Palmer and the Totally Fun Fitness gang for inviting me to, yesterday we were all at the Bubble Mug for lunch. So we must have had about 30 or 40 of us over there. Carol, she's like Gary, my husband Gary calls her the Julie. Remember the Love Boat? Like Julie was the cruise director. Yeah, sure. That's Carol Palmer. She teaches classes at the senior center, but she always does all this extra stuff on the side and going to shows and going out to lunch. Well, anyway, I had never been to the Bubble Mug for lunch. Or for anything for that matter. And so anyway, they all insisted that I needed to go. And I have to say, it was absolutely fabulous. I mean, the food was just amazing. And there was a lot of it. And then on top of that, they gave us, like strawberry. It was like a strawberry shortcake dessert. It wasn't quite strawberry shortcake, but it was on that idea. It was like a berry. It had strawberries and blueberries. It was delicious. It was wonderful. So all good. This weekend, Pete, I have to, because people think I have no life other than the senior center. So just to reassure folks, I actually went away with my husband on a little overnight getaway. He won an overnight stay at the Hilton Hotel in Saratoga Springs, New York. Oh, nice. And so we went up there Saturday to Sunday. Well, first of all, I have to say, I loved it. It was wonderful in every way. Unfortunately, I still have my boot on, so I'm not doing a whole lot of walking because walking just takes a lot of time. But that said, the room, it was the biggest room I think I've ever been in. For a hotel, I was shocked. I said to Gary, we could have a dance in here. So I'm not sure if all the rooms were designed for 2 queen beds. We had 1 king. But the room was lovely. The staff was lovely. We ended up, because of my walking inabilities right now, we ended up just staying at the hotel for dinner, and it was delicious. It was, as Gary said, it was absolutely wonderful. He had a salmon dinner, and I had a salad with steak, and the steak you could cut with a butter knife. It was just wonderful all the way around. And so I said to Gary, this is on my list of let's go back here when Tina can actually walk around a little bit. We did a lot of driving around, and there's a national park up there, and I didn't make it to Fort Ticonderoga. We'd like to do that, but again, I know that requires walking. So next
you should talk to Kathy Palmer because one of her regular guests, Sam Nunn.
Yes.
Is a reenactor up there.
Yes, well, I know. Well, Sam did he wrote this year for Ghost Talks. He wrote the Ghost Talk script this year. and did a fabulous job. And I was in that. And actually, I was the citizen from Saratoga, which is where we kind of started this talk. So it was, so I would really like to go back there. So Gary, shut your ears, because that may be your experiential Christmas gift for this year would be to go back. And I tell you what, I would stay at the same hotel. It was just, and it's really situated nicely because it's right on the edge of the downtown area, so you really don't need a car. You could, when you go out and about, you do, but to walk to the downtown area, you could just walk it.
Nice.
So so it was good. All right, so Pete, what did you do this weekend?
I went on Saturday. We went to a thing called River Rocks in New Hartford.
Okay, what was
which
that
is
about?
on the Farmington River. It's kind of a music festival.
Ooh.
That has stuff on the river that's acoustic, and then a main stage that kind of going on simultaneously, and you really can't hear both.
Really?
Yeah, you kind of go to one or the
Okay.
other. And it was a nice day out, and they have like a couple of craft vendors and some food vendors, and it's just kind of like a townie thing. But
Nice.
since Christy was a townie,
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm assuming
knew about it.
That's what I was going to say. I'm assuming Christy knew about this because she is from that area. So,
and all the bands were doing original stuff. It wasn't really kind of like covers. So
yeah.
it was pretty cool. Different styles of music and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, we had fun. We went with my mom. And then Sunday, I met up with Tim, his girlfriend, and I met his girlfriend's aunt.
Okay.
And we went to Skyline for lunch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I got to watch a nice race, NASCAR race at Coronado Naval Air Station. They transformed the base into a racetrack, a 3.4 mile road course.
Wow.
It was pretty wild because it's, some areas were pavement, some areas were runway, some areas were
my gosh.
they had
Who
a
would have
dip.
thought?
They had a dip in one of the things, and you could see them catching a couple of inches of air every time they went down this hill.
I bet.
And it was pretty wild race. 3.4 mile course. It was pretty big.
Boy, that's amazing. I always wonder, like, who comes up with these ideas? Who would have thought?
Apparently, it was 2 years in the
airbase?
planning, and they did it with the America 250.
Oh, okay.
The USS Carl Vincent was in port, so they set up grandstands on the Carl Vincent, so the sailors stationed on the Carl Vincent could watch the race. They were overlooking like 3 or 4 turns. Mm-hmm. And then they had the public there. They had military there. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's kind of like they've been doing a lot of one-off stuff in NASCAR.
Uh-huh.
Like they did a race at the LA Coliseum, a little quarter mile. They built a racetrack inside the LA Coliseum, a little quarter mile, half mile bull ring track.
I wonder how much that takes to do that, to just like build a racetrack for, just a one, as you said, like a one-off.
It was probably a lot of money, but it was a big plant. Like they've transformed. It's easier to do like the monster trucks.
Okay, yeah.
They transform an arena with all the dirt they bring in and stuff like that into a monster truck thing. So it's not doable. It's not undoable. But they had to pave it and design it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, wow, that's a lot of
work.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they had to bring in all the fencing and all the barriers and stuff like that for the Coronado track. And it's fun because they race road courses in NASCAR, but this was a one-off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds fun.
Yeah.
So you had a good weekend. You obviously didn't work at all this weekend.
No, I'm gone from Mount Holyoke. I left.
Again? Pete,
No, I left.
You've left before.
They took me out of the system. I'm done.
They did?
Yes.
And is that good? Was that, did you want that, or did they?
Bittersweet.
Okay.
It was time for me to go.
Okay. I get that. I get that.
Time for me to go.
I had a supervisor back on one of my early jobs back when I was in we were living in the Boston area, and she said to me, and I will never forget this, I thought it was profound, Sue Temper, and she said, Tina, it is as important to know when to leave a job as it is to know when to accept a job. And I thought that was,
it's tough for me to leave money on the table.
Yes, I know. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in this day and age,
But
the cost of living is not going down. So
right. Looking at the totality of things, it was better to walk away now than to prolong agony type thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's it. No more Mount Holyoke conversations.
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, it is 6:15, and you are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. So my first song today goes out to my husband, Gary, because on Saturday, June 27th, it is our wedding anniversary. We will have been married 45 years. 45 years with the same man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That is a very long time, especially in this day and age. It's a really long time, but it's a long time, 45 years. So anyway, Gary, honey, this one's for you. It's Arlene's singing Still the One. We'll be back.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I am in the studio with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
All right, June is National Rose Month. So that month recognizes that June has long been considered an ideal month for roses. Not only are they in season, but they are a popular choice for weddings, another event in season this month. Roses come in more than 150 species across the Northern Hemisphere and even more around the globe. Because their beauty and fragrance speak to lovers, the rose has long been the symbol of poets and artists. Both wild and domesticated roses grow in the United States. 5 states even make the rose their state flower. While New York's official rose is one of any color or combination, North Dakota and Iowa named the prairie rose as their state flower. Georgia's state flower is the Cherokee rose, and the Oklahoma rose is the state flower of its namesake. First Lady Ellen Wilson started the White House Rose Garden in 1913. Before becoming a garden, part of the property where the Rose Garden grows was allocated to the White House stables, horses, and coaches. Don't let the name fool you, though. There are more than just roses in the White House Rose Garden. The history of National Rose Month, well, it was first observed in 1959 when efforts were made to pass a bill to designate the rose as the national flower. Arlene Hennessy of Bayonne, New Jersey, was crowned Rose Queen in honor of the month that year. However, the rose wasn't made the national flower until 1986 when President Ronald Reagan made it official. So happy National Rose Month. You know, I had a member of the senior center. I don't see him too often, but I see him at least every year at tax time. Wally Parsons, and he grows roses. And I understand, I have not seen his yard. It is supposed to be unbelievable, but I know he has entered competitions and contests, and he schooled us. He used to be in my support group, and he schooled us on just growing roses, raising roses. It's an art and a science combined. So, all right.
And then we have a kind of a world-renowned rose garden and hatchery right up the street
at Grandmother's Garden.
No,
no,
Stanley Park.
Oh, it's Stanley Park. Well, yes,
they've done like new species of rose.
Have they?
Yes.
Yeah. I thank you for mentioning that. Yes, Stanley Park's is, and I was going to get into Stanley Park later with the concerts, but yes, their rose garden is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize that about species.
They've certified new species of rose.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, something to go up there and really take a look at.
Yep.
Right here in our backyard.
Yep, 30 varieties of roses up in their garden.
Are there really?
That's what it says. Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to do
I
a field trip.
remember when the previous director had come on talking about it.
Bob McEwen.
Bob
right?
McEwen, yeah.
McKeon.
He said that in the greenhouses, they've done cross pollinations. They've done new species over the years.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know. Well, mosey on up to Stanley Park.
Yeah.
All right, today is June 24th. We have a famous birthday. It is the birthday of the late Norman Cousins, journalist, author, and professor. Born on this day in 1912 in Union City, New Jersey, he died in 1990 at the age of 78. But it's important that we talk about Norman Cousins because this is a health and wellness show. So Cousins attended Theodore Roosevelt High School in the Bronx and edited the school paper, The Square Deal. He received a bachelor's degree from Teachers College, Columbia University, and he joined the staff of the New York Evening Post in 1934, and a year later was hired by Current History as a book critic. In 1940, he joined the staff of the Saturday Review. He was named editor-in-chief in 1942, a position that he held for 30 years. Under his direction, circulation of the publication increased from 20,000 to 650,000. Cousins was a lifetime believer in the power of hope and in the realism of optimism. One of his well-known lines, "Life is an adventure in forgiveness," has survived him. But Cousins had no patience for those who consciously bent the truth, whether for personal expediency or in the political sphere. Cousins joined the University of California, Los Angeles faculty in 1978 and became an adjunct professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Biobehavioral Sciences. He taught ethics and medical literature. His research interest was the connection between attitude and health. He did research on the biochemistry of human emotions, which he long believed were the key to human beings' success in fighting illness. It was a belief he maintained even as he battled, in 1964, a sudden onset case of a crippling connective tissue disease. Told that he had one chance in 500 of recovery, Norman Cousins developed his own recovery program. He took massive intravenous doses of vitamin C and had self-induced bouts of laughter brought on by films of the television show Candid Camera and by various comic films. Here's a quote. "I made the joyous discovery that 10 minutes of genuine belly laughter had an anesthetic effect and would give me at least 2 hours of pain-free sleep," he reported. "When the pain-killing effect of the laughter wore off, we would switch on the motion picture projector again, and not infrequently it would lead to another pain-free interval." His struggle with that illness and his discovery of, quote, laugh therapy is detailed in his 1979 book, Anatomy of an Illness as Perceived by the Patient. And, it's an interesting book. That was required reading for one of my graduate level classes in alternative medicine. It's a fascinating read. It is, and I think there was a movie about that as well. But it's called Anatomy of an Illness. And when he was in the hospital, he would have his wife bring in tapes or, whatever it was back in the 70s, whatever we were watching of, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, just, some of the old, kind of the Carol Burnett show type of thing. And they said you could just hear him laughing like all over the hospital unit that he was on. And he was known to throw his nurses out of the room when they wanted to come and do whatever they wanted to do while he was doing his 15 minutes of laughter and, say, come back when this is over.
Sure.
But anyway, it really is an interesting concept. And of course, since then, we absolutely know that attitude is tied with health and wellness and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested, as I said, it is, I believe, because I think I showed the movie in a class that I taught at Springfield College years after I took that alternative medicine class. But it's called Anatomy of an Illness by Norman Cousins. So there you go. Let's take a break. It is 6:28. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. So in honor of the fact that June is National Rose Month, we're going to listen to Bette Midler singing What Else? The Rose. We'll be back.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart it's been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Underwriting for the community programming is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:33. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So we were talking before about Stanley Park and the lovely Rose Garden at Stanley Park, and I also want to remind our listeners that there is the Sunday night concert series presented by Westfield Bank, also at Stanley Park. The concerts are held in the Beverage Pavilion. They begin at 6 o'clock, and they have a suggested donation of $5 a person. Chairs are provided, and food service is available starting at 5 o'clock from, where else, the Bubble Mug Cafe at the Pottery Cellar. We were also just talking about the Bubble Mug Cafe because I was there yesterday, and their wonderful food. So this Sunday, June 28th, the band performing is Studio 2. It is New England's premier tribute to the early Beatles era, which for me, that was like my favorite, were the early Beatles. Based in Boston, they've been performing since 2012, bringing to life the look, sound, and energy of the Beatles' formative years, from the Cavern Club to their first U.S. tours. Voted the best Beatles tribute band in New England by the Boston Globe, and the best tribute band in New Hampshire by New Hampshire Magazine. So definitely worth your while. 6 o'clock. Again, Stanley Park series. I know there were a bunch of people there last week. Let me see. Who was playing last year? Last week it was a tribute to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because I know Carol.
Seven Bridges Road.
Yeah, right. Seven Bridges Road. Carol Palmer was there, and apparently a whole crew. So anyway, something fun to do on a Sunday evening. Hopefully the weather's good. I don't know. Anyway, but you can, if there is rain in the forecast or whatever, you can check the Stanley Park website for any kind of last minute, changes or cancellations. All right. I mentioned before, June 24th, it was, there's one more birthday that I want to talk about, and that is the birthday of the late Jack Dempsey, boxer born on this date in 1895 in Manassas, Colorado. Wow, he lived to 87 years old. He didn't die until 1983. That's pretty good. Dempsey grew up in Colorado and Utah, working as a farmer, miner, and cowboy. His older brother, Bernie, earned extra money as a prize fighter in the saloons of hardscrabble Rocky Mountain towns. It was actually Bernie, Jack's older brother, who taught young Jack how to fight, instructing him to chew pine tar gum to strengthen his jaw and soak his face in brine to toughen his skin. Ugh. By the age of 17, Jack Dempsey had developed into a skilled young boxer and decided he could make more money fighting than working the farm. On Independence Day in 1919, Dempsey got his first big opportunity, a fight against world heavyweight champion Jess Willard. Nicknamed the Great White Hope, Willard stood a menacing 6'6" tall and weighed in at 245 pounds. No one in the boxing world thought that the 6'1", 187-pound Dempsey stood a chance. Despite his enormous disadvantage in size, Dempsey dominated Willard with his superior quickness and ruthless tactics, knocking the bigger man out in the third round to earn the title of World Heavyweight Champion. Dempsey successfully defended his heavyweight title 5 times over the next 6 years in what is considered one of the greatest runs in boxing history. Despite his successes in the ring during this period, however, Dempsey was not particularly popular with the public. He had not served in the military when the United States entered World War I in 1917, leading some to view him as a slacker and draft dodger. Strangely, Dempsey finally achieved widespread popularity when he lost his championship title. On September 23, 1926, he was defeated by challenger Gene Tunney before a record crowd of 120,000 fans in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Right? I know. And that was back in 1926. When the bruised and battered Dempsey returned to his hotel that night, his wife, shocked at his gruesome appearance, asked him what happened. "Honey," Dempsey famously answered, "I forgot to duck." The hilarious and self-effacing anecdote made Dempsey something of a folk legend for the rest of his life. So happy birthday to the late Jack Dempsey, and that was a great line for sure.
He was one of the first heels, almost like a wrestling heel. Because the crowd hated him.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that
and he
weird?
played the character.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
But that was huge for boxing back then because
Yes.
they needed that.
Yes.
They realized they needed that formula, and that's true to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Mike Tyson.
Sure.
Another heel.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Pete. It's like, and any publicity is, good marketing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to remind folks that the Pioneer Valley Stroke and Aphasia Support Group meets on Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Holyoke Senior Center. You can call 322-5625, which is the Holyoke Center, for more information. They do have weekly in-person meetings, lively conversation, tips for daily living, shared coping mechanisms, challenging games and exercises, facilitated discussions, judgment-free camaraderie, and more. So that is the Stroke and Aphasia Support Group. And June is National Aphasia Month. We talked about that last week, so just wanted to pass that along. That's every Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Holyoke Senior Center. I also want to remind our seniors, our bingo playing seniors, that we have missed 2 weeks of bingo at the Senior Center, the 12th because we had a Ray of Elvis concert, and it took us all day to set up for that because we had a sellout crowd. And then last week, of course, was Juneteenth, so we were closed with all of the, along with all of the other city offices. So this week is gift card bingo. It's our monthly gift card bingo. It's the last Friday of the month. But we are doing a gift card bingo bonus. So in addition to our gift cards that are generally to, Stop and Shop, the Dollar Store, Dunkin', there are extra little prizes in the bags. And then we also have some really lovely armchair caddies that our quilters made, as also that we'll be giving away as prizes. And they're these really great cloth caddies that you just drape over. You can drape it over an easy chair or the arm of a sofa. And then there are little pockets in it for you to put your glasses and your remote control and your pen and your rolled up newspaper if you like to do the crossword puzzles. They're really wonderful. So we have some of those that we'll be giving away as prizes as well. So that's this Friday at the Senior Center. The bingo cards are free. You're allowed up to 2 bingo cards. They are free on when we play gift card bingo. And we thank Westfield Pride is our sponsor this month for gift card bingo. So we thank them. Of course, it is Pride Month. And we did Pride Bingo back at the beginning of the month. So lots of fun bingo things, even though we had to concentrate it because we missed out on those 2 Fridays. And I just wanted to remind folks about that. This coming Monday at the Senior Center, we are bringing back, and I think this is the first time since the pandemic that we're bringing this band back. It's the Western Mass Senior Band. They are presenting a Star-Spangled Senior Concert. This was a tradition at the new Senior Center prior to the pandemic. On the last Monday of June, before 4th of July, we would have the Western Mass. I think they changed their name. It used to be the Senior Concert Band of Western Massachusetts, which was that was kind of a mouthful. So now it's just called the Western Mass Senior Band. There are like 30 members of this band. It's a huge band, and they would do just a patriotic instrumental concert, and it was great. We would do it in the afternoon, and people from the arborists would come over. They'd send a van over, and we just have and because the kids are generally out of school, which they will be as well. Well-behaved grandchildren are welcome, and family members. And then of course life stopped for a couple of years during the pandemic, and we've been slow to get back into it. I think the band was kind of slow to get back together and rehearsing and so forth. But here they are. So they will be performing this coming Monday, June 29th at the Senior Center from 1:30 to 2:30. We have extended that invitation to the Arbors, and they will be joining us. They'll be sending a van over to join us. It's a free concert. It's 1 hour. Again, well-behaved grandchildren are welcome. Thank you to the Westfield News for putting it. They posted that press release. It is in today's paper. So we look forward to a lot of fun with that concert. So all good. I mentioned earlier that Jen Jaffune will be our guest this morning, second hour for our Food for Thought segment. Jen is also the facilitator of our Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group, and they meet on the last Tuesday of the month. So in this case, that's going to be next Tuesday, which is June 30th. The topic for that particular session is all about sweeteners. So sugar, honey, artificial sweeteners. What's best, particularly if you're a diabetic, what's best for any of us? So Jen will be going through all of that. No signups are necessary for the diabetes support group. They meet from 1:30 to 2:30 on the last Tuesday of the month. Again, that'll be next Tuesday, June 30th. And the topic is all about sweeteners. So all good. I'm going to do one more announcement before we take a break. I'm lying. I think I'll do 2 announcements before we take a break. So because they kind of go together.
Okay.
So last week on the show, my guest was Judy Duffy. Well, I had 2 guests, Judy Duffy and Dory Newworth, who is her sister. So they were talking about the 2 programs that are coming up in July. We're really excited about this. So the first one is called Art for Good. It's an Art for a Cause program. I love Judy's. I love their MOGO, make one, give one. So you are going to be making, those who participate in this are going to be making 2 of the same art projects. You're going to keep one and you're going to give one away, and that one is going to get sold at the what's it called? The Arts Festival, the Pioneer Valley Art Festival, which happens at the end of August. And the proceeds from that go to our local food banks. So in Westfield's case, it is the food pantry. So that's how this program works. Dory and I was asking Dory and Judy when they were on the show last week, what are they going to be making? Well, they had the idea they're going to start in July. They're meeting twice in July. They're going to do decoupage on the first session, and they're going to paint glasses, like wine glasses or any glass, really, a juice glass, whatever, your favorite glass, on the second time that they meet in July. So they brought me in some samples, and they are stunning. This is easy, though. This is like, you do not have to be an artist to do this. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be displaying all that this week so that when people sign up, because the first class is Thursday, July 2nd. So that's going to come up right after the newsletter comes out. The newsletter is coming out The July newsletter is coming out this Saturday, June 27th. So next Thursday is the decoupage. You're going to be doing decoupage soap. It's gorgeous. So I have all these samples, so I'm going to be putting those out this week so that people can see what that's all about. So that's called Art for Good. Our regular Art Unlimited class will not be meeting over the summer. Carol Ceron is going to take July and August off. She'll regroup, and she'll be back in September. Judy and Dory are going to do the summer because then they leave for Florida for, in the fall. So it works out really well. There's no charge for this art class. And I thank the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center for helping to support this with some of the supplies that are needed. And then the other thing, as I said, this is the second announcement, only because Judy's also going to be the facilitator for the complimentary summer Tai Chi classes. So she's going to be doing a Tai Chi class on Mondays from 11:30 to 12:30. There is no charge for this. Tai Chi acts as meditation in motion. So I think this is going to be a great class. And this is a drop-in class. You don't have to sign up for it. This will be during the months of July and August. So starting in early July. And Tai Chi really strengthens your body, enhances balance, and relieves stress without putting heavy strain on your joints. And I think that's important for our seniors. But in my opinion, anything, and Carol Palmer would second me on this, anything that improves balance, any kind of physical activity or classes that improve balance, we're all about that. So this will be a great way for people to kind of sample Tai Chi, and it'll give us an indication as to whether or not we might want to offer this, on a regular basis. Okay. Right now, it'll just be for the summer because Judy, again, will be leaving in the fall. But we can certainly look for someone else to take over if there's enough interest. So there you have it. All right, it is 6:47. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. And in honor of the birthday of Norman Cousins, all about laughing and attitude and hope when you are experiencing health issues, we're going to listen to Clay Walker singing Live, Laugh, Love. We'll be back.
I'm gonna live, laugh, and love just for today. Gonna take all the trouble that tomorrow might bring and put it away. Gonna drink every drop of happiness till they cover me up. I'm gonna live, gonna laugh, gonna love. I got a buddy that wakes up worrying about stocks and bonds. He's up and he's down and he only smiles when the market's strong. I spend my whole week's wages at the dance on Saturday night. I won't ever grow a portfolio, but hey, that's alright. I'm gonna live, laugh, and love just for today. I'm gonna take all the trouble that tomorrow might bring and put it away. Gonna drink every drop of happiness till they cover me up. I'm gonna live, gonna laugh, gonna love. In the country and the tin roof rattles when the rain comes down, where the wind through the pine helps me unwind while the world goes around. I got a woman that fills my heart so full that it overflows, and how it gets any better than this, brother, I don't know. I'm gonna live, laugh, and love just for today. Gonna take all the trouble that tomorrow might bring and put it away. Gonna drink every drop of happiness till they cover me up. I'm gonna live, gonna laugh, gonna love.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Where will the superintendent spotlight shine next? Join Stefan Zaporowski and Chris Rogers every Thursday at 9 a.m. to find out. 107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:52. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
It is eerily quiet here. I mean, it's like so quiet here.
I like it.
It's so funny, Pete. I do too. I pulled in and I went, oh my gosh, the parking lot is completely empty. Well, yeah, now I know why. Because
all the cars,
they had to move everything, all the vans and everything, because I thought, wow.
Well, they put the vans away for the summer. They all go into auto tech and auto body. So those big garages get filled with vans.
Okay, so they're all there.
Exposed.
Okay. Gotcha.
But then all the junker cars that they work on and all the donations, they had an auction or, they put them on surplus. And I know they got rid of a lot of them.
Okay, perfect.
So the one that's left, it was bought by one of the custodians. He's trying to get it running so he can get it out of here. And then there's a couple others that are outside the fence that are, I think, were bought as well.
Yeah. So when I came this morning and I thought, I have to admit, as much as I love the students and they're great, and we rely on them at the senior center. We have students from several departments that help us out. It is just kind of nice to just be able to roll in here. It's nice and quiet. We have the whole place to ourselves, and there's something about that, right, Pete?
Yeah, and we're going to be busy. It doesn't end, like people think that I just kind of hang out all summer, but we're going to start trying to cover the Friday night concert series and maybe some Sunday concerts and the fireworks are next week and just
lots of stuff going on.
Not next week, the week after.
Yeah, when are the fireworks?
They're July 2nd in Westfield.
Okay.
So because Friday is the observed holiday.
Yes.
The 3rd.
Right, because 4th of July falls on a Saturday, so like we get Friday off, so all the city offices are closed on the 3rd.
Correct. So we're going to do ours
the fireworks
on the 2nd.
Makes sense.
Right.
Perfect.
And I do have a reserved spot for the truck on the field, so we will be there and covering the fireworks from down there. Usually I cover them from Skyline because it's actually a good spot to do it. I don't have to fight everybody, but now with the mast, just put the mast up and call it a day.
I love it.
Yeah.
Might have to come and visit you there on the truck, Pete.
You're more than welcome.
Okay. I might just do that. All right. So listen, we have this food drive going at the Senior Center, and it is going to be going all summer. So let me talk a little bit about the food drive. This is a partnership that we're doing with Westfield State University for their FACES program. FACES is a program that supports current and former foster youth students experiencing homelessness and youth who have experienced other forms of substitute care. So I've talked about this on the show before. These are students who, most of them were in the foster care system. When they turn 18, the foster care system says, goodbye and good luck to you. You're on your own. Have fun. And, so the students that are at Westfield State, the college has, because these students often really, truly don't have a place to go, so that they're not living out of their cars or couch surfing on their friends' couches, the university is providing them with housing for the summer. Last year, they also provided them with a meal program. But this summer, because of budget cuts and funding and all of that stuff, they can't provide them with the food portion, but they can provide them with the housing portion, which is super important. So we need to help them with the food portion. So we are doing a summer-long food drive. My seniors have been awesome already in helping to fill the food bins that we have out in front. They're right when you walk in the door. And as I have said to the seniors, we're doing this for 2 months over the summer because these students are on their own. And I said, if we have literally hundreds of people that come into the senior center every day. If each person once a week brings like one item or two items, we're good. I don't need one person bringing, a whole grocery bag full of stuff. If everybody brings one or two items, once or twice, over the summer or once a week or whatever your commitment can be, that would be wonderful. We have a food wish list. I'm going to go through the list now, but I also have this written down and copies made so you can actually just take it with you so that when you do your grocery shopping, that's your little reminder to grab a couple of items for the students. Canned fruits and vegetables, spaghetti sauce, protein bars, easy make meals in cans or boxes. And the seniors are coming up with some great meals that they're finding. Canned tuna or chicken, cereal, granola, rice, boxed mac and cheese, pasta, peanut butter and jelly, spicy and non-spicy chips, any of your like muffin, cake, and brownie mixes, instant oatmeal packs, and hearty canned soups. So any of those kinds of things would be awesome. You can just plop those into the bins at the right. It's right in the lobby when you first walk in the door. But this is a great program, and we're happy to help the FACES students. And I know the Sassy Stitchers, who are busy making blankets for them as well, are also helping to fill those food bins. So we appreciate that. I also want to let people know the word is out. They've started to spread this word at the YMCA. The YMCA and Michelle Urbanski runs a program called Fight PD, Fight Parkinson's Disease. It's an exercise class specifically for people with Parkinson's disease. She runs it on Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 12. It's a $5 class drop-in fee, or you can purchase a package of 10 sessions. But anyway, that's all happening at the Y, and that program's been going on for about 3 years. It's a specialized program, again, specifically for people who have Parkinson's disease. I'm going to be starting a support group for those who are supporting those with Parkinson's disease. It's called Parkinson Partners. It's open to spouses, partners, children, siblings, and friends who are actively engaged in caring for someone with Parkinson's disease. And it will be an opportunity for people to share their concerns. We'll talk about resources, information, and successes, which can be uplifting and encouraging for those who are helping to support those with Parkinson's. Participants in the group will chat informally, and all discussions are strictly confidential. I'll be facilitating that group, and we are going to be meeting starting next month on the second Friday of the month from 11 to 12:30. So our introductory meeting will be on Friday, July 10th at the Senior Center. So the exercise group for those with Parkinson's is on Mondays and Fridays at the YMCA. This group will be meeting at the Senior Center on Fridays. And it actually coincides with the fact that Michelle's running the group for those with Parkinson's on Friday morning. So it's we tried to kind of mesh those time frames and timelines. So if you have any questions about that, you can certainly feel free to call me at the Senior Center, and I would be happy to talk to you about that group. But that will be starting in July, and we'll just kind of see where we go with it. All right, you are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. We will take our top of the hour break, and Jen Jafune will be joining us second hour for our Food for Thought segment. We'll be back.
I
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM, WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM, WSFD-LP, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:03. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. Pete Coles is behind the glass, our chief engineer and the chairman of the board. And it is the last Wednesday of the month, which I can't believe it. It's the last Wednesday of the month. So we are joined by our last Wednesday of the month guest, Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist. On this segment, we talk about food for thought. And Jen, as I mentioned earlier, also facilitates our diabetes support and education group. I knew you'd be really thrown off this time, Jen, because we are meeting now on a Wednesday. Usually it's back to back. Usually because the diabetes group meets on the last Tuesday of the month at the Senior Center, and Jen's on the show the last Wednesday of the month. Usually it's the next day. But in this case, not so much because of the way the calendar went. So she's on this week, and then next Tuesday, which is the end of the month, she will be doing the diabetes group, which we talked about earlier. Yep. So we're going to talk about travel and healthy eating and maintaining healthy eating when you travel. But next week for the diabetes group, you're going to talk about sweeteners.
Yes.
And we do also say the diabetes group, first of all, is open to not just people with diabetes, but also to their support system, whatever their support family is or friends or whatever, but also to anybody else who just wants to eat a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, the diabetes healthy eating plan really is healthy eating for
everybody. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, but before we get to all of that and our travel and eating healthy on your travel, June is several national food-related months that I saved until the end of the month to go over this with Jen. So first of all, June is National Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Month. So you can bet your bottom dollar that when I'm finished talking about this, we're going to talk about the Westfield Farmers Market. Add color to your meals during National Fresh Fruit and Vegetables Month in June. As the peak season for many early garden crops find their way into markets, it's an excellent time to take advantage of these freshly picked fruits and vegetables. Berries and salad items come to mind first, but don't hesitate to try exotic produce too. As we head into a season where more variety is available, our family gets to enjoy the benefits of early summer's bounty in vibrant color. From zucchini and tomatoes, leafy greens, onions, and avocado, each provides added fiber, protein, and vital nutrients. Whether we eat them as a snack, on a salad, or in a smoothie, it's important to have 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Skip the canned and frozen aisle and check out the delicious fresh fruits and vegetables coming into the grocery store, farmers markets, and even your garden every day in June. Visit a pick-your-own fruit and vegetable farm and bring home the fruits of your labor. Savor the goodness of these delicious foods. Westfield Farmers Market, let's talk about that, is open on Thursdays on the lawn of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, which is located at 36 Court Street, from noon to 5 p.m. The market will run every Thursday from now until mid-October, generally rain or shine, unless it's a really bad storm, and then they will post that on their website. Let's see, what else do you need to know? Front lawn, free parking is behind the church. Please don't park at the Arbors Assisted Living. Their parking lot is right next door in the front, but they need those parking spaces for their own residents and visitors. So, but there is plenty of parking behind the Church of the Atonement. The Westfield Farmers Market offers locally grown and organic fresh fruits and vegetables, eggs, baked goods, syrup, honey, jellies and jams, flowers. They have crafters. They have skincare products. They have live music, all funded through a grant. SNAP and HIP The Healthy Incentives Program will be accepted. So just bring your SNAP card. And if you're not sure how that program works, it's actually an excellent program. You get more bang for your buck. So if you're not sure about how that works, they actually have a SNAP tent set up. So bring your SNAP card, stop at the tent and ask them. But you can, I think with the HIP program, you can double the amount of up to like $30 or something like that on your SNAP card. So you can double your money value at the farmer's market. Anyway, it's a great program. They will explain it to you because I get a little confused with this whole thing, but they will explain it to you. So all good there. Let me just make a couple of other announcements and we'll take a little break and then we're going to jump into some of the other things that Jen's going to talk about. I do also want to mention that June is National Dairy Month. So National Dairy Month started out as a way to distribute, are you ready for this, extra milk during the warm months of summer. Because remember, before we had refrigeration, like what do? The cows keep producing, what do you do? So the commemoration was established in 1937 by grocer organizations sponsoring National Milk Month. By 1939, June became the official dairy month and is still celebrated today. Whether it's in coffee, cereal, or smoothies, adding one more serving of milk to your family's day can help ensure that they get the nutrients they need to build strong bones and teeth. Trusted for decades, dairy farm families pride themselves on producing wholesome dairy foods that help their families grow up strong and healthy. A few interesting facts about dairy foods and farming. Of course, we have to talk about ice cream when we talk about dairy.
Right.
America's favorite ice cream flavor, believe it or not, is vanilla.
Really?
Yes, vanilla with chocolate is second. Well, of course, vanilla is like, you add on pie a la mode and all that other stuff,
True.
And all that. Farmers measure milk in pounds, not gallons. We measure it in gallons. They measure it in pounds. So 8.6 pounds per gallon is the standard. Really? It takes about 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese and just over 21 pounds to make a pound of butter. Dairy cows eat about 100 pounds of food every day and drink 25 to 50 gallons of water.
Wow.
I know that's a lot per cow. Mm-hmm. Holy smokes. All right, chew on these historical tidbits about milk and dairy. Home delivery of milk started in 1942 as a war conservation measure. Do you remember getting milk delivered? Did you have milk delivered as a kid?
Yeah.
I did too.
We had a little metal box.
A little metal box, the milk box.
Yep.
Yeah. And it wasn't just a metal, it was insulated with something. I don't know what.
Probably. I just remember running out and...
Yeah. The milkman would come and you'd run
glass
out.
Bottles.
Yeah, the glass quart bottles of milk, right?
Yeah.
With the cream on top.
I don't remember
like
that.
the cream would be like this much on the top. Early cheesemakers shaped Edam into balls to roll down the gangplanks of ships for export. And here you go. Little Miss Muffet's curds and whey, from the nursery rhyme, were an early version of cottage cheese.
Oh, interesting.
Who knew?
Yeah.
But you heard it here first on Wake Up
Trivial
Wednesday.
Pursuit.
There you go.
Be
That's
doing
right.
Great.
I think it should be a Jeopardy question.
There you go.
All right. Finally, June is National Iced Tea Month. As the temperature heats up in June, it's a perfect time to celebrate National Iced Tea Month. Brewing the ideal pitcher of iced tea is a matter of taste. Depending on your taste, you may prefer sun tea, sweet tea, or unsweetened tea. Perhaps your palate leans more toward a fruitier tea or a stronger type of tea. As long as it's iced, June is the month your tea is celebrated. Iced tea was made as early as the 1870s, but an English merchant by the name of Richard Belchenden brought the beverage to popularity. During the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, temperatures began to soar. Belchenden had crossed the Atlantic to sell black tea steeped hot and served to the American public.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over.
Not so much, but
degrees.
not so much when it's that warm. So under the conditions, fairgoers were interested in cooler beverages. So Belchenden needed to switch strategies, or he would have zero sales. By brewing a stronger tea and pouring it over ice, the merchant created a new product to sell. It may surprise contemporary tea drinkers to learn that most of today's commercial iced tea mixes and tea bags contain mostly mechanically harvested black teas from Argentina. More than 40% of the tea imported into the United States each year originates in that South American country's long, flat fields of tea bushes. Although some teas are manufactured specifically to be served as iced tea, really almost any tea can be enjoyed cold as well. You can even save your breakfast tea and serve it over ice for lunch. Whether it's black, green, oolong, or white, drinking iced tea is cooler than ever.
You know, I also, when people tell me I can't drink water, it's so boring, and I'm getting further and further away from encouraging artificial sweetened things, I suggest buy the tea at the supermarket that is peach or lemon or raspberry.
Yeah.
Brew up a pot at night. In the morning, now you have flavored water that tastes like the fruit.
Yep.
But you don't need to add the sweeteners because it's already got the full
Yeah, it's
flavor.
already fruity.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so there you have it, all of that. I have one more announcement that I want to make, and that is that we started, I think last month, a class called Yoga for Strength. It meets on Fridays from 2 to 3. It's a $5 pay-as-you-go class, so you don't have to sign up in advance or anything like that. The instructor is Angelica Lopez, and she concentrates on simple movements, balance improvement, and support for everyday activities. And the only thing that she asks is that you bring your own yoga mat. So I just wanted to, remind folks that that is available. I know it's an odd time on Friday afternoon. On the other hand, it's kind of a nice way to just sort of end your week of, if you work, and you have that time. I know some of the staff are doing. It's just like a really nice time to kind of chill out and yoga for strength. So, all right, let's take a short break, and then we're going to talk to Jen about traveling and vacationing and eating healthy. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. And in honor of the birthday of boxer Jack Dempsey, well, we have to listen to the theme from Rocky, Gonna Fly. So we'll be back.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:18. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and my guest this morning, because it's the last Wednesday of the month, and she's always here on the last Wednesday of the month, is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist with a private practice here in Westfield.
Yes.
And Jen, let people know, because we usually do this at the end and then we're rushed, but how can people get a hold of you if they would like to schedule a consultation?
So they can, just call me, 579-5450. They can go online and schedule their own appointments on my webpage, jenthedietitian.com.
I know, I love that. It's so easy to remember your email, Jen the Dietitian.
Jafune is so hard to say, so forever I've just been Jen the Dietitian, so
I
it
love
just made
that.
sense.
Yeah.
You can also, if you're working with your healthcare provider, most of the doctors in the area know me, and you can just ask for them to submit a request for an appointment.
Okay.
So
perfect.
Lots of
and your
ways.
Location is right on Elm Street.
Yep, directly above Westfield Gas and Electric.
Yes, in this really cool old building. Jen has a great office.
Oh, I love my office.
I love your office too. And if I were you, I would probably never. Well, of course, I don't leave my office much, but I would never. That office is. There's so much character to that building.
And it's a reasonable walk.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
It's local.
Yeah.
It's easy. There's parking.
I know. It's great.
Yeah. So,
perfect.
And I can do remote. So if somebody,
okay.
I have a lot of people who are trying to lose weight so they can get hip replacement or things like, they've had surgeries.
Yes.
I can do phone and video. So some people, not video, like Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom or Google Meet or one of those.
It's through my electronic health record, so it's protected. But, people who are intimidated by computers need to understand that I can do it by phone.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Jen. Okay, so the topic today is travel and healthy eating, which as we were coming back on air, you were saying you just spent like the last 5 weeks traveling. So I figure you're well versed in this topic.
It started in May. I went to a nutrition conference for about 4 or 5 days. It was fantastic. But I had to practice what I preach.
Yes, you do.
And I came back a night, left the next morning for Maine, and went to 2 different locations, came back, worked, and then I went to the West Coast. I did a Seattle to Portland to San Francisco, to a town just south of San Francisco.
Wow.
And back. I'm telling you, last weekend was fantastic. I was home and did nothing.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of travel.
Yeah, that's a lot of travel in a short period of time.
Yep. So I'm very well versed in things to do. I see travel as having stages. So things you can do well ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Things you can do like as you're actually traveling.
Okay.
Things you can do while you're there.
Okay.
And what to do when you get home.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter what kind of trip you're having. These things still apply.
Okay.
So things you can do well ahead of time. And I'll tell you, I'll highlight things that I did. I did a Google search to find out where local supermarkets were. Mm-hmm. Particularly when I was going to the conference, because when I'm staying in a hotel, I like to have breakfast in my room. Mm-hmm. And so I have to get those foods.
Yep.
And it was interesting. When I went to the conference, I was in a supermarket desert, according to Google.
Oh, interesting.
There were dollar stores nearby and restaurants, but no supermarket. It wasn't until I got there that I found a supermarket.
Okay.
So Google may not always
Okay.
know everything. The other thing is to scout out restaurants. And I tell people, don't just find where the restaurant is. Like, read the menu.
Oh,
See
yes.
if there are things that are within your healthy eating plan. And the other thing is, yes, I understand a lot of travel is vacationing. Pick ahead of time where you might splurge and where you're going to get your healthier choices.
Yep.
And find out what's available in the hotel. So, at an Airbnb, obviously you'll have a kitchen.
Yes.
But in a hotel room, what have you got? And I have found over the last, I would say 3 years, more and more hotels are getting rid of their microwaves.
Interesting.
And so I looked into it, and microwaves were basically there to heat up your tea or your coffee.
I was going to say it
right?
was, for your morning
Well,
stuff.
now they're putting the little, like Keurig or another brand in your room, no microwaves. So, if you want to do some eating in your room and you want it to be hot, you're out of luck.
Yes. Also, this is interesting. I said we were in Saratoga last weekend, and the hotel room had a refrigerator. This was the first refrigerator that I've seen that didn't have a little freezer with it. And the only and I don't normally I wouldn't care, except that I have cold packs.
Yeah.
And I need those to be frozen.
Right.
Now there's always an ice machine. Most hotels have an ice machine. So we did, and I'm still icing my foot. So I had to ice my ice pack, so we had to, we put it in a plastic bag and then put that in a bucket. We had the ice bucket and so forth. But, sometimes you have to be a little creative.
You do.
But you're right. And I noticed that we did have a microwave. It was like literally it was the size of a shoebox.
Right.
It was so small. And I
nothing
thought,
can fit in there.
Yeah, no, really not much.
Unless it's like a flat frozen meal.
Yeah, that was about it.
And, interesting enough about the fridge, when I was in Seattle, we had a little fridge in our room, and I went to the store, bought us yogurts, and the next morning, they were frozen solid. So
wow.
This is a fridge. It didn't feel frozen.
Yeah.
However, frozen yogurt was delicious.
Okay,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah,
healthy.
it was fine, yeah,
So,
yeah.
we just sat there and scraped because there was no microwave.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But, so other things that you can...
But so that, I just want to go back to that for 1 second, Jen. And most hotels will, if you go on their website, they will tell you what the amenities are in the room. They'll tell, and I know, because I used to check all the time for a blow dryer. It's like, do I need to pack one, or does the hotel have one?
Yeah.
So, they do have that. So, and if they have refrigerators, they will put that. If they have microwaves, they will. So if you don't see it, they don't have it.
No, I actually will say, let's say you need, you're on insulin or you have a medication that needs to be refrigerated. You can call the hotel and request. They usually have a few available in case of.
Okay.
So
Good to
that's
know.
helpful. But if not, you're going to have to make do and get ice and water and hope the temperature stays.
Right.
I mean, that's more of a problem when you're traveling abroad to maybe not a first world country.
Okay.
Other things you can do well ahead of time. You can find out what fitness facilities are available. And if there aren't any at the hotel, what are the options nearby? Let's say you're going someplace where you're not going to be able to walk or you're not going to be able to do your normal routine. I was stuck in California for 6 weeks last two Januaries ago, helping my daughter, and there were fires and we got evacuated.
I remember
and all that kind of stuff. Well, I have a Y membership. And you can use your Y membership anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my little ID thing. They looked me up and I was able to exercise at the Y.
Nice.
So, you can look up things. You can also do some things to help you prepare yourself mentally. So practice portion control, because when you're out at events, they're not scooping out 2/3 of a cup of brown rice on your plate, So
Right.
you have to, if you don't have the ability to visualize, practice. You can make a motivational list for yourself. Why am I going to try to make some healthier food choices this time something I've never done before. And a motivational list can have really serious things like, oh, the doctor said if I come back in 3 months and things haven't improved, they're going to put me on a medication. They can also be, emotionally important. I want to be here to walk someone down the aisle or see someone graduate. And they can be, and I've never come up with the right word for this, but I'll just call them petty. I want to look better than so-and-so at the reunion.
Yeah.
Or they can be deep in the back of your mind. I want to wear my skinny pants in the back of the closet.
Yeah.
These are things no one else will ever see. You can make a picture of it on your phone or write a card down so you can pull it out when needed. I mean, basically what you're trying to do, besides figuring out what activities you're going to partake in, is plan to bring some of your healthy habits with you, because your whole body comes with you when you travel. You can't check your diabetes at home and go without it.
Exactly. We're going on vacation, so diabetes, we don't have to deal with
here,
you.
yeah.
I think, I honestly believe so much of this is psychological, because I hear people say this all the time. Well, we're going to go out for ice cream, and I'm going to get like the biggest ice cream sundae. Well, I'm on vacation.
Right.
And that as if that is the explanation for anything. Well, we're on vacation. It's like, yes.
Yes.
But
I say to people, plan in advance. If there's something really special you want, plan in advance, like Tuesday and Friday on vacation. I'm going to have X and Y, and I am going to enjoy it thoroughly, but I'm going to do all these other things to support that.
Yeah.
Because nobody needs to be perfect.
Right.
I always tell people a healthy lifestyle is 85 to 95% of the time. That leaves wiggle room.
Yeah.
When we traveled to Portugal, I'm a big baking show fan, and there had been a Great British Baking Show thing where they were making a specialty of Portugal called pastinada. And I'm like, I am absolutely
I got to have one, right?
I told Joe, I planned it out. I said, they're very small. And I was like, I will allow myself 2 of those while we're away, possibly a third. But if I have a third, we have to split it. We split all of them. But I wasn't going to go to a country where I wasn't going to try their specialty.
And sometimes people will say, oh, you're going to, whatever the city or town is, you have to go to this restaurant.
Yes.
And again, it's like, you have to build that in. You are on vacation.
Right.
So that does count for something. Yeah.
Well, my trip to Seattle just recently was my sister's trip. So my sister and I every year go on a trip together, and we had a very long conversation about what are we going to do? Because we have to eat out lunch and dinner. So, all of these meals are going to be, we're going to portion control. We're going to get the healthiest thing. We're not having the dessert. We had an exact plan. And our last night, we're like, okay, this is our night that if we want to splurge, we can. It was funny because neither of us did.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think by that point you get to, it's like,
Well, after, we were stuck eating out every meal except for the frozen yogurt in the room. So, you have to make some decisions if you want to come back and say, I had a great vacation and I feel okay.
Yes.
Because what I hear a lot is, I was doing really well until. And so I really work with people to bypass that and make some better choices.
All right, perfect. All right, that's a good segue. So the pre-planning phase is, kind of do a little bit of homework.
Yep.
Know where the grocery stores are. That's usually one of the first things. Gary and I like to stay at bed and breakfast, but that's usually one of the first things we'll ask is like, where can we go pick up some,
snacks
and things like that. Yeah, and also, by the way, we talked before about the farmers market. We've been to places where they say, oh, well, and if you won't know unless you're a local, Wednesday afternoons or Tuesday mornings is the farmers market, and it's 3 blocks away at the City Hall or wherever it is.
We went to the best one in Australia. It was, we came upon it by accident.
We've done the same where you end up there. We found one in New Hampshire, and it was the same kind of thing. It was on a Saturday morning. We were just taking a walk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this was great. So
we weren't allowed to check into our hotel, so we left our bags and just walked around and found this a phenomenal, like, fresh fruits that we had never even seen before.
Yeah.
It was great.
How cool. All right. Let's take a short break. If you're just joining us this morning, my guest is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian and a licensed nutritionist here in Westfield. It is National Fresh Fruits and Vegetable Month, so we're going to listen to the Beach Boys singing Vegetables. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial and WCPC Cable Channel 15. We'll be right back.
I'm going to be around my vegetables. I'm going to chow down my vegetables. I love you most of all, my favorite vegetable. If you brought a big brown bag of them home, I'd jump up and down and hope you'd toss me a carrot. I'm gonna keep well my vegetables, cart off and sell my vegetables. I love you most of all, my favorite vegetable. Oh, table vegetable. I tried to kick the ball, but my tenny flew right off. I'm red as a beet, 'cause I'm so embarrassed. Oh, yeah. Jump, 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 I know that you feel better when you send us in your letter and tell us the name of your favorite vegetable. I know that you feel better when you send us in your letter and tell us the name of your favorite vegetable.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM, WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM, WSFD-LP, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:36. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching Cable Channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. We are live, and in my studio this morning is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist. She does our Food for Thought segment. And today we are talking about trying to maintain a healthy eating habit and patterns and lifestyle while you're vacationing and while you're it's the summer, people are going away.
Right.
So Jen, you kind of said there were different parts to this, and we talked about the first part, which is sort of the planning part,
right?
Knowing ahead of time, do a little bit of research on your computer, where is the closest grocery store, that kind of thing. All right, what do we do next?
Right, so now we're actually traveling.
Okay, now we're there. Now we're getting there.
There's different obviously people travel differently to different places.
Right.
So, my thing is take a look at the trip and figure out if you're going to need to eat while you're traveling.
Okay.
So whether you're flying and you need snacks, because, fewer and fewer meals are served on planes unless you're in first class. And I don't know about you, but I've flown first class one time in my entire life.
Yeah.
Or you're in a car on a road trip.
Yep.
On a cruise. The cruise is separate because you have to get there first and then you get on the cruise. That's part of the vacation part. You have to think smartly because if you're in a car or heading to a plane, you need non-perishable items. If you're going on a plane, you need non-liquid items, obviously, or you won't get them through security. Last year, I found out that hummus is considered a liquid. I'm like, really? But, they said anything that you can stir basically is a liquid. So you can't go through security with a yogurt.
Okay.
You have to buy everything once you pass through.
But you can go through like with trail mix?
Yeah.
There was a while where you couldn't go through with any kind of food, wasn't there?
I
You don't know?
No, I think you
Okay.
can bring food, but one time I brought my ground flaxseed with me because I don't know why I bought it. I think it was that I bought it while I was there.
Okay.
And then I was going
okay,
to bring
you
it
can bring it
home
home.
because it was a package.
Yeah.
And they said I couldn't because
It had been opened?
It had been opened, and you could stir in explosives.
Sure,
And
you
I'm
could
like,
add anything. You could add anything to
You
it.
can
I do
add
under. You could add drugs.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I get
so
that.
they
I get that.
confiscated that. But one thing that I like to make clear is if you're bringing non-perishable items in a car, they have to have ice packs or my one thing that I covet someday I will get is a plug-in cooler for my car. The old
I didn't realize that you could do a plug-in.
you can. A lot of long distance truck drivers use them. Where there used to be the cigarette lighter, you can now plug in a cooler, and they come in variety of sizes depending on your road trip. That would make a huge amount of sense, and so you can bring yogurt, hard-boiled eggs, cheese sticks, anything leftover dinner. You could bring your own sandwiches, and they stay cold.
Absolutely.
For a plane, though.
Yeah, but if you don't have that for the car, I just want to say I didn't even know you could buy coolers that you could plug into the cigarette lighter, but we use cold packs.
Oh yeah,
and
me
they
too.
work great. And what I would suggest for people is I found over the years, because we were back and forth to New Jersey all the time, because that's
Right.
where Gary and my family, that's where we're from, and when Grace was little, and I found that the smaller ones work better than the bigger ones, only because you can use lots of little ones and stack them in where you need them and tuck them in between and so
Right.
forth. So that's my little my tip for.
Also, they're not cheap, but you can get DC powered freezers.
Really?
Really?
Yes, you can.
Oh, I did
A lot
not
of
know
boaters
that.
use it. A lot
Oh,
of boaters
boaters,
use it.
okay.
And
Okay.
RVers, but you can get some coolers that half refrigerated, half frozen.
I had no
knew?
idea. Thank
I didn't
you,
know. I
Pete.
didn't know about that either. But yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I learned is, I think most people know that food is salty on the plane. And what I learned is, just like when you're baking and on the back of like the box, it'll say, if you're at altitude, you need to make these changes. Our taste buds are different at 30,000 feet. And so
Really?
foods have a higher flavor concentration, and salt is part of that. So if you were to eat some of the food served at 30,000 feet down here, you would find it hard to eat because it would be way too much.
Okay.
So I suggest, especially someone who has any kind of edema where you've got swelling in the ankles or legs or anything, congestive heart failure, need to worry about blood pressure, pack your own low sodium snacks and bring them with you.
Okay.
I do that all the time, and I just put them in little Ziploc baggies. So I have enough for the trip out and the trip back. And I bring a variety of things because I don't know what I'm going to feel like eating.
Right.
So things that you can bring. I love the no salt pretzels. Snyder's makes them. There's rice cakes. There's some crackers out there. They can have flavor, just not all the salt. I have a relative who once traveled to Japan and didn't know any of this, ate salty snacks, had some drinks, had his shoes off because it was like a 14-hour flight.
Oh God.
Couldn't get his feet
Yeah, I was
into
going to
his
say
shoes.
his feet swelled.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
So,
Okay. Yep.
it does make
a difference. Yeah.
Also, the thing that I recommend to people is bring something to entertain yourself. Not everyone has the ability to watch or wants to watch a movie on planes.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah.
people do. I'll watch one, maybe,
Yeah, I'm
but I
kinda
don't
the
watch
same
a
way.
lot of things. I was brought up, when I was a kid, my parents used to make us travel standby. And so we might be at the airport for 12 hours and get sent home, that kind of thing. each of us had a teeny little suitcase, and we had to put in whatever we were going to entertain ourselves with for the day. And I continue to do that to this day. So I will buy magazines. I get a book out of the library. I never bring my magazines from the library because I tend to leave them. So I
bring catalogs.
Okay. Wow.
Because I like to, well, you know what? Just they're small. They're like the size of a magazine, but I love looking through catalogs. I don't buy much. I'm not a big shopper, but I love looking through them, and it's what I call mindless.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter if there are people talking around, because I also like to read, but sometimes it's hard to concentrate, you know, with people, even with headphones, with people watching stuff. But a catalog, it's like, I can just look through this. And then, as you said, and then when I get over where I'm going, it goes into the recycle bin because I'm not taking it home, you know, unless there's something I really want. And I rip the page out and put it in my purse.
Yeah. Or you can even take a picture.
But you know what? Grace does that with my granddaughter. And I think most moms and grandparents do that with their young children, where, you know, she's got a separate backpack and it's just the travel one. Right. And the thing about that, too, is that you want things in there that they don't play with every day. It makes them unique and that they can do, you know, like an Etch-a-Sketch or something like that they can do sitting in the car or sitting on a plane or whatever.
Right. Crossword puzzles, adult coloring books.
Yep, the word searches.
Search. I love those.
Yeah, so do I.
I bring continuing ed. I don't know what it is about travel, but I love to read continuing ed. And so, you know, I feel like my brain is doing something.
And the thing is, I'm guessing, because this is a food segment, that while you're doing those things, you're not necessarily thinking about eating and food.
Right.
And again, eating not because you're hungry, but because you're bored.
Yeah.
You know,
the other thing is always travel with sneakers on and comfortable clothing. And if you have a lull in your travel, get up and move. I'm always walking the airport. I always walk anywhere I can.
Yeah. Airports are great to walk in because, you know, they're big and long stretches, you know. And
the only downside is when I'm not traveling with my husband, I got to bring everything with me.
I know.
You know,
but Gary and I do that. When you travel with somebody else, we'll do that. It's like, okay, I'm going for a 15-minute walk.
Yep.
You watch here's my purse, the suitcases, and then we'll just switch it out off.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Well, my husband doesn't like to walk the airport. He will sit and watch everything.
Okay.
And I just go and walk.
Well, there you go.
You know, it's like great. Yeah. If you're in a car, make sure you get out and have a stretch break or move a little. We do these long trips up into, you know, middle of Maine. And, you know, you just want to get there, but sometimes you just got to get out and do a few stretches.
Really? Now, my husband, the chiropractor, would tell you every 2 hours.
Yes, I
know. And it only has to be for 5 minutes. I mean, it's not like you have to take this long extended break. You don't necessarily have to stop at a rest area or whatever. Just, you know, pull off when you find someplace and, you know, 5 minutes to walk around, get around. I did a trip when Gary was in chiropractic school. I did a trip home with a friend of mine. It was just the two of us, and we were driving from Iowa to New Jersey. And Mary said, it's a very long trip. And Mary said, we're going to do, and we'd stayed overnight someplace, but she said, we're going to, every 2 hours, we'll switch drivers, whether we're tired or not, or, you know, whatever it is, we'll just, you know, even if it's like, no, I can keep going. Nope, you can't. We're going to get up, stretch. We would walk around the car, you know, like a Chinese fire drill, and then switch. And then, okay, now I got my 2 hours. And we did great. It was a great trip.
My husband has to drive. If he's not driving, he has to sleep because he's not a good passenger.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's whenever. But we once traveled through Dallas. We had a layover of like 11 hours. And Dallas has this amazing, like, I don't know, 4-story staircase. It was like forever. And I'm like, you got to get up and we got to do this. So we walked up across the platform down. I made him do it like 5 or 6 times, which, you know, may have made him not want to do it, but in the future. But yeah, anytime you can walk the stairs, anytime you can do anything. When my sister and I got to Seattle, it was very expensive to take an Uber to where we were going. But I found out if you took a train to this neighborhood, then you could get $50 less Uber. Yeah. So we got to the other neighborhood, and she and I looked at each other. It's like, it's a 40-minute walk. You want to do it? So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
In 2 days, we did 35 36,000 steps.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, a lot of steps. So again, back to, if you're doing that and you're moving and you're walking, you're not eating because you're bored, because it's hard to do all that with juggling suitcases and everything and eating at the same time. All right. So now, so
that's getting
there. But now we get there.
So now we're there. You have to put your plan into place.
Okay.
So, yes, it's vacation. Yes, there's fun things to do. I always encourage people to find some non-food activities.
Yes.
Recently I had someone who is going to a certain area of the country that's well known for some food things. I was like, okay, but you know what else is there? And because I had been there and we talked about some other options that are non-food.
Yeah.
So I get it. When my father used to plan our vacations, everything was around food. That's all he cared about, was where we were going to eat every day for each meal. And, my plan was to go swimming and, to take a walk on the beach. And,
Again, that's sort of the mindset of your vacation. Because I'm sort of like you. To me, the food thing was like, okay, we can always go to the grocery store and get cold cuts. But, I want to go whale watching, or I want to, go to these gardens that I heard about, whatever. So, yeah.
So the other thing is, while you're there, enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the food, just don't go overboard.
Yeah.
Pay attention to alcohol intake, because, I'm on vacation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
you can buy packages that include, unlimited food, alcohol.
Right.
Cruise ships are really big into the whole performance of the food and parading in of the baked Alaskas and the, whatever. Yeah. So it's, to me, that you have to think about the non-food activities.
Yeah.
Why you're there, who you're with. Other things to pay attention to is quantity. I also encourage people to bring their own snacks. So belly bag or a purse or something that you can carry. If you don't eat them while you're out, just bring them back. Granola bars, or protein bars,
nuts. I'm a big one on nuts.
Yep.
You're allergic. Are you allergic?
I'm allergic.
You're allergic.
So,
but I do, and we'll do. I am. Whoever invented Ziploc bags, I think they're like the greatest invention of the 20th century. I love the fact that they come in all sizes and all shapes. They even come in different colors for those of you who want that. If you want to color coordinate or, whatever. Or if you have kids, you get the blue ones, you get the yellow ones, you get the green ones.
Right.
But I just, they're just so easy to stash, and they're easy to stick in a purse or, as you said, a fanny pack or
and
whatever.
And you don't need to refrigerate a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
Because, especially if you're someone who is out and moving around, taking a walking tour, going to this place, doing what my sister and I did, which was walk everywhere, bring your snacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, it'll also save you money. A box of protein bars is going to be so much less expensive than that one item you buy at the venue that you're at.
And I think depending on, again, where you're going, what your destination is and where you're staying, we go up to Maine frequently, usually for like a week in the summer.
Yep.
And we stay with my brother and sister-in-law.
Right.
Day one, the night of, we all sit down and we say, okay, we're going to plan out the meals for the week.
Yeah.
And we plan out the meals for, it's like, okay, they invite a neighbor over one time. Okay, well, when we invite Bob over, what would we like? I'll make, roast chicken or whatever. We always plan, like maybe a takeout where we have it at home, but we don't cook.
Right.
We plan one meal, one nice restaurant out, like in that 7 days. And then we generally choose, at least narrow down the restaurants.
Right.
I got to tell you, it really helps with just having that plan of, and we factor in, what are we doing during the day? Well, this day we're going to take a hike, in Acadia Park, and so what's the timing? When are we going to get home late?
Right.
So let's do a meal that we can prepare most of it ahead of time. It's just it takes us about, we have it down to where it takes about 15 or 20 minutes now to do that planning.
Well, because you've done it.
But it just saves so much angst. throughout the week. And then we can also do grocery shopping. So like
Right.
that next morning, all right, we'll do like pretty much the shopping for what we need.
Right.
And usually I'll bring one meal or I'll prepare something there. So it's like, I don't want my sister-in-law stuck in the kitchen the whole time. So,
Right.
we kind
So
of factor all that in.
We do a similar thing, but we do it ahead of time. I don't know how to make an Excel spreadsheet, I'll admit it.
Yeah, no,
my
neither do
daughter
I.
makes this amazing Excel spreadsheet, and everyone puts in what foods they want for
perfect
breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks.
Yeah.
I usually do all the supermarket shopping because I like to supermarket
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
And I personally like to cook where we are in Maine. It's my happy place, and I'm feeding my people. And you know, most of the time I'm doing the majority of the cooking, but we have this sheet that we know exactly what's happening, and you know, we can obviously you can alter things, you know, based on what everyone's mood is and what we're going to do activity wise. But yeah, planning makes a huge difference.
It all goes back to planning.
Right.
I think, you know, when you're flying and but you know what, Jen, on this show, you have talked about that with our everyday lives as well.
Of course.
You know, the more that you're planning, the easier it is to stay on track with, you know, with your eating habits and trying to maintain a healthy eating pattern.
Yeah.
And when you fly by the seat of your pants, it's when you're stopping at a fast food and you're throwing something together and, you know, and it just doesn't work very well.
Yep. So the last part of it, and I don't know how much time we've
we're
got.
good. I blew through the 7:45. We'll save that song for the end.
Okay. So most people go in with the best of intentions, and somewhere they feel like, well, I've blown it, and so I might as well just gimme. And, you know, you come home and then you feel bad, and that may continue well, I blew it, so gimme. And it could take days, weeks, or months to crawl out of that. So instead of that, I tell people to go into the next step, which is mostly a conversation with yourself. These are, you know, recognizing that one, you liked food, the food that you had. I think in our country, you're a bad person if you really like the food, because good food, you know, healthy food tastes bad. Good food is what everybody wants, you know, and it's not good for you. It's okay to like food. If you let go of all of that, it's okay. So that guilt trip of I ate all this delicious good food and now I'm unhealthy, let it go.
Yeah.
The second part is acknowledge things that you might have done differently that you never did before. You know, if you never walked to the airport and you did it this time, great. Or you drank water on vacation a little more than alcohol, you know, whatever it is, acknowledge it and pat yourself on the back. And then I believe you have to just fill in the blank of this sentence and then put it into place. And the sentence is so simple. The next healthy thing I'm going to do is, and you just fill in the blank. It is simple. It is, I'll have a glass of water. I'll put my clothes out to go to the gym tomorrow morning. I will plan my menu for the week. It doesn't, you know, I'm not saying that it has to be a monumental big deal, like I'm going to lose 50 pounds before I go back to the doctor next month.
Yeah.
No, you know, let's
probably not happening.
Well, and it's not really an action step.
Yes, exactly.
It's what you want to achieve in the long run.
It's kind of a fantasy, actually.
Well,
but you're right. You're right. It's not an action step. Well, you want somebody to come up with something
solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something that I can do in the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next,
and,
you know.
And anytime you can set a goal, I'm going to drink a glass of water, drink the water, check. I achieved that. I was successful. I can now move on to another thing and another thing and another thing. So, you know, instead of being maybe 85 to 95% during the holiday, maybe you were 45 to 55%, you were still doing some of those things.
Yep.
So let's acknowledge it and keep moving forward. That distinguishes it as a lifestyle instead of as a diet.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And again, we get back to there's so much psychology to all of this.
Yes.
And a lot of it is self-psychology. It's self-talk.
Yep.
It's what we're telling ourselves because we do that. I mean, we tell ourselves those things all the time. It's like, well, I'm on vacation, so I can just live it up and just, let this go out the window. Or, the opposite. Or, oh, I'm a horrible person because I had an ice cream cone and I shouldn't have had it. I know I shouldn't have had it. It was the wrong thing to, it's like, oh my God.
I just don't want people to feel, to feel that way.
Yeah.
It's okay to like it.
Yeah.
We have a family tradition every year when we're at the cabins in Maine. We make ice cream from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a hand crank. I make up the
mix,
in the morning, and it's so much fun. Everybody gets, we all have to hand crank it because it gets hard.
I know. I've done it a couple of times. It's not easy.
I buy some toppings that range from M&Ms to strawberries. People can kind of do what they want. But we all enjoy it. It's something everybody looks forward to every year. I never want anyone to go home and go, oh, I can't believe I ate that ice cream.
Right, exactly.
I want them to go, how much fun was that?
Yeah.
And, anytime someone new is introduced into the family, it's like, oh, well, you're going to have to make ice cream.
Exactly. It's your turn to crank it.
It's a fun memory.
Yeah.
And it's more of a social event than a food binge.
Yep. And a lot of times, really when you think about it, all of the occasions, the holidays, the vacations and all of that, it really is about the camaraderie and, and what you're doing. It's getting together and, the food should be secondary. And, it's sometimes it becomes like the absolute focal point. Right. But in the end, it's being with the people that you love and doing, and it's experiential, it's like doing things together.
Well, the way I describe it to most people is everyone's received a wedding invitation once in their life, probably. And it's come join us in celebrating the love of these two people. And by the way, what meal do you want to eat?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yeah.
And it never comes as come to this event, eat so much that you have to unbutton your pants and take Rolaids. And by the way, these guys are getting married.
Yeah.
It's, we have to remember that these keep falling. I don't know what I've done wrong.
Yeah.
We have to remember that we are human beings and we are social creatures.
Yeah.
We do have to eat and we can enjoy what we eat, but that's not the focus.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. It is 7:59 and we are going to sign off. If you're just joining us, my guest this morning has been Jen Jaffoon. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist here in Westfield. Her office is located on Elm Street, just above the Gas and Electric office, the Gas and Electric Company. Jen, you want to give us your phone number again in case people would like to contact you?
It's 579-5450, or you can go online to jenthedietitian.com.
Perfect. As a reminder, the July edition of the Voice of Experience newsletter will be coming out this Saturday. We have a lot of stuff happening at the Senior Center this summer. We have some special summer programs that I've highlighted earlier, but please pick up a copy of the newsletter. Next week, Carol Palmer is my guest for our Live Your Best Life segment. Carol joins me on the first Wednesday of every month, and believe it or not, next Wednesday is July 1st.
Wow.
In the meantime, have a great week. I will see you next week.
Oh, well, I woke up this morning and I looked out the door. I can tell that old milk cow by the way she looks. Hold it, fellas. That don't move me. Let's get real gone for a change. Well, I woke up this morning and I looked out the door. I can tell that old milk cow. I can tell the way she looks. Now if you see my milk cow, please drop her on home. I ain't had no milk and butter since that cow's been gone. Well, I tried to treat you right day by day. Get out your little prayer book, get out on your knees and pray, boy, you're gonna need your love and daddy's help someday. And you're gonna be sorry treating me this way. Oh, let's milk it. that old moon look lonesome when your baby's not around. Well, I've tried everything to get along with you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quit my crying. I'm gonna leave you alone. If you don't believe I'm leaving, you can count the days I'm gone. I'm gonna leave. You're gonna need your love and daddy's help someday. And you're gonna be sorry for treating me this way.